Like when you walk in here, you're immediately drawn to all the different things going on. You're like, what do I focus on? It's all so exciting.
Took my knowledge from Leipzig from my YCB trip last year. It's an outlet where people can use it in creative ways.
It inspired me to think of ways to include everyone.
I've learned about the history of the surrounding areas in Birmingham and the communities and the multicultural diversity in these areas.
One of the main things that we learn is that art can be loads of different things. It can be an amalgamation.
Now I see different things, what work went into stuff, different lights, colours, why they were chosen.
The buildings in Birmingham actually have a meaning to it.
Definitely enjoyed being able to create something within a community.
One of the other things that we discussed was making sure that it's accessible for everybody.
Looking around doing all these interactive games, I really enjoyed looking at the specific job area my heritage is in, so it's really nice to see that integrated with art.
What I've learned about the history of the surrounding areas in Birmingham, such as Mac and the Cannondale Park, and the communities and the multicultural diversity in these areas.
What I've learned is for ways we can layer cities and upcycle rundown buildings, and I've took my knowledge from Leipzig from my YCB trip last year, and we've looked at ways we can implement their kind of relaxed attitude to graffiti and encouraging creative vandalism, and where you could implement that into Birmingham.
Today I learned that the buildings in Birmingham don't actually have a meaning to it instead of just the government building them. They have a piece of history replicating something on that building, or an artist has put something in from their past.
I guess from the whole day, I saw how people see buildings. If I walked into this building right now, I feel like I just take it for granted. But now I see different things, what work went into stuff, different lights, colours, why they were chosen. I guess I just see why things were done.
Today I definitely enjoyed being able to create something within a community, not specifically in my own, but for someone else, in appreciating different cultures and art, different stuff that I wouldn't normally think twice about. Just take in how someone else's imagination could differ from my own. Okay. Well, I felt that looking at all of this, especially towards the end when we started coming up with our own ideas, it inspired me to think of ways to include everyone while still making sure the focus is what you actually want to focus on. It's our example was a dragon in Chinese New Year, but we didn't want anyone who wasn't necessarily part of the Chinese community to feel excluded, to not feel like they could be a part of it. So we had our ideas were interactive games. We wanted to show other people's opinions, because I think the main reason people even go to these events, if they're not actually interested, if they're not a part of the community themselves, is because they're interested in wanting to learn more about other people. So I feel personally, it just shows that everyone really cares about everyone else. There is a selflessness when it comes to learning about other people and other cultures.
Yeah, I think one of the main things that we learn is that art can be loads of different things. It can be an amalgamation of a culture, but also what other people respond to with that culture.
Yeah.
So with our example, we were trying to, in the Chinese New Quarter of the Hippodrome race, we were talking about how Chinese New Year means something for all those different cultures.
Yeah.
But you don't necessarily have to partake in that culture to have an opinion. Exactly. And I think that one of the biggest things was that architecture is not just a form of art, it is art in itself.
Yeah.
So I think that when we were talking about what we were going to do and what we've learned today, I think it's about accessibility, educating people on different cultures, and also being able to have that open-mindedness and tolerance towards other people. And I think that was the major thing that we got from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, echoing these two, both amazing responses, basically what I should say. But yeah, in general, I really just kind of enjoyed doing the group activities, getting to know everyone, getting to know their relations to art, their culture, how we can integrate it in like today's society for the future city. And just looking around doing all these interactive games. I really enjoyed looking at the specific Punjab area. My culture is, my heritage is Indian, so it's really nice to see that integrated with art and just all of these connections.
Like when you walk in here, you're immediately drawn to all the different things going on. You're like, what do I focus on? It's all so exciting.
And you do realize there's so much like behind it. Like we always just see architecture as a building. That's how I saw it. That's how I viewed it. That stigma's kind of gone now. You realize there's so much more to it and so much potential. It's really connected to us.
We talked a lot about that when we were talking about specific buildings. Like a lot of people have contrasting ideas. Like some people hate Selfridges. We really love Selfridges.
It's like the outside of the building
Yeah.
with the bubbles.
Like it's so different to anything you see anywhere else in Birmingham. Like,
Everyone's got a
love
different
it, that-
perspective.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And just like expressing yourself, talking about like graffiti as well, how it's in a way expressing your opinion and how it shouldn't be limited. And all that.
Everyone just kind of looks at things through a different lens. It's like it
was really
you have to be
insightful.
able to understand other people, to be able to understand art.
It was very insightful. So yeah, we really enjoyed it.
Thank you so much for hosting us.